me already right now. Okay, that's Cleveland Kate. I was looking at her ceiling. What's up, Cleveland Kate? How you doing today, lady? Oh, you on mute, Kate. You on mute. Okay, we're working out. I'm working on this right now so I can hear. I think she's gonna contact me right back. But we got a lot to talk about today. We're gonna have Natalie Turk from Sports Illustrated join us as well to talk Cleveland Indians with us. So we got a lot to talk about right now because right now Cleveland Guardians, excuse me, is one of the hottest teams in baseball. So happy. Hey, Cleveland Kate, how are you?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, baby.
All right, girl. How are you?
Good. How was your weekend?
It was good.
Good. Did you celebrate Juneteenth?
I did.
What'd you do?
We had a Blackish marathon.
Really?
Yeah,
Did
We watched all of the last season. I've been saving it.
for
Saturday.
Juneteenth?
We did it Saturday because Sunday was Father's Day, so we had to do, Father's Day stuff. You open the oven. Um, so we started on Saturday and then finished it Sunday night.
What'd you cook?
We did hot dogs on the grill for dinner. We took Joe out to a restaurant in Elyria called the Foundry Kitchen and Bar for brunch, and all four of the girls came with their families, and we had this big brunch thing. And then we came home, and he's like, "I just want to sit here and watch TV, and I'm like, "What do you want for dinner?" He's like, "We haven't had hot dogs like on the grill in a while because in the winter, I usually just boil them up and put them in macaroni and cheese. So I actually cooked hot dogs on the grill and made a little bit of chili sauce for them. So we had chili dogs and French fries, and it was good."
Now, did you cook anything special for Juneteenth?
I did not.
Okay, so next Juneteenth that you celebrate, not only do you got to watch Blackish or watch something black, but you also got to make some soul food.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to get some recipes from you because I tried making greens once and it did not go well. Mustard greens.
Oh, really?
It did not go well. My cornbread's pretty good, but I put actual corn in my cornbread.
Okay, I got a good macaroni and cheese recipe
Oh,
for
good,
you
because
too.
I'm a craft girl. I don't.
Oh yeah, we gotta get you away
Yeah,
from that. That's not real macaroni and cheese.
good.
Natalie,
I'm muted. What's up?
hey ma'am, how are you?
Oh, good to see you guys. I'm well. How are you?
Good. How was your weekend?
It was nice.
Now, did you celebrate Juneteenth on Saturday?
No, I really did. I napped most of the day, so
Okay, so next year we got to get you to celebrate in
yes.
June. Celebrate you Juneteenth.
Well, I was listening to you before you saw that I was on, and I was like, I think I was on last year this time exactly, and we were talking about it, and I was like, well, I guess I should have got recipes and tips from you last year because now I'm a year late. So
Yeah, so next year I'm gonna get y'all squared away so y'all can celebrate Juneteenth.
Okay, but
yeah.
in our defense, I know about you, Natalie, but I am one of the only white people at my work who even knew what Juneteenth was.
Oh,
So
well, I
took
do
the
know what
time
it
to
is.
explain it to
Yeah.
people, and I think that at least gives us some bonus points.
Maybe
Appreciate
I
that.
did. I did laugh with Rachel. I do know that. So my boyfriend, my fiance, I would never get Kraft macaroni and cheese doesn't fly in that house. So we have to. He has a real macaroni and cheese. So that's something that I did have to learn. So I'm used to Velveeta shells and cheese. To me, it's like top shelf. That's one step above Kraft macaroni and cheese. If you get Velveeta macaroni and cheese, I didn't know I was doing it wrong. So.
Never had in my life.
Yeah.
Never.
So
I've
I'm
had
gonna.
craft like once or twice over a relative's house, but that was you know we didn't have nothing else to eat, so we
We need
had.
to say hi to the folks in the chat. If you're
Oh,
watching
we
this
got
on
people in
StreamYard,
the
you can
chat.
chat with us. Willie's there and George is there tonight.
Oh, I
Willie
can't.
and George, what's up, brothers?
Oh, I see everyone. I had it just on my own where I said hi to everyone. Hey
All
guys.
right, ladies. So let's go ahead and get into it. We got a red hot Guardians team right now. Nat, what is going on with this team, man? They had a huge win yesterday. So far on this road trip, they are 5-1, which is really, they swept the Colorado Rockies. And one of the things I guess they hadn't done in Colorado was be able to win in over 20 years. So that was a
Right.
huge sweep to be able to get in there in Colorado, a different type of atmospheric pressure and stuff like that, and get that win. And then they stole 2 out of 3 from the Los Angeles Dodgers, who a lot of people have contending for a World Series title. They were able to get in there and get 2 comeback wins. Can you explain what's going on with this team?
Listen, now I told Rachel last week, LA, we had a good chance of winning that series because LA wasn't going to give us any respect and was going to slack off, and they weren't going to see us coming, and that we actually had a shot at taking 2 of those 3.
Yes, I agree with you. I tweeted, like, put some respect on our name. It's funny. I said last night, because here's the thing. I thought going in, if they could get 1, I'd be happy. I mean, 2 was something to really cement this team, because here's what happened. So of course you'll have, they were playing really well. I think, I don't know what I had they're doing in June, but they've won 6 straight series. So heading into LA, you hear the chatter on Twitter or just wherever that, okay, well, we'll see what they're really made of when they face the Dodgers. So they face the Dodgers. I'm like, where are all the haters at, Monday morning after they won the series in LA? Does that cement them now? Can we say this team has something? This team has grit. They have this vibe about them that I honestly haven't seen. I didn't feel as much last year as I do this year. I think what's the most important is, to even mention Jose with his finger that was jammed, or thumb. He was out yesterday, and I laughed. I said, the rookie said, "It's okay, Jose, we got this," because they came through when they needed to. So these wins for me, looking at them, have been more team effort wins. They're playing small ball. They're finding ways to get on base. And that is proven by, Jose's high amount of RBIs. He wouldn't have the RBIs if he doesn't have runners on base. So that, I think, is the key to what is happening this year. Guys are being patient at the plate. They're getting on. They're drawing walks. And the pitching has been pretty solid for starting. Bieber's really turning it around his last 2 starts. Clase is just lights out. He's 14 saves. We have Eli Morgan in the pen. So this team, I think they're surprising a lot of people right now. And if they can stay injury-free, I see that we're going to have some exciting baseball ahead of us. So
I expected better pitching out of Quantrill on Saturday.
I was a little, Cal's been pretty good. He's pretty consistent, and that was a little bit unlike him, I think. And I was like, well, okay, we lost 1. I didn't really expect to win, 3. It would have been great. But yeah, and then they had to go, into a little bit more of like a bullpen game on that. I think they used 4 pitchers that day. So yeah, I agree with Cal. It's a little surprising from him because, like I said, he's been one of the quiet, more solid guys that we can rely on. And he had a little bit of an off day.
So did the offense too, because they only had, I believe, 2 hits on Saturday, and they scored on an error. So I think that the offense had an off day as well. They had a grind out game against the Dodgers on Friday night. So I guess maybe they didn't have anything in the tank left. Yesterday they had about 13 hits too. So it was crazy. And then they left, or maybe they had 13 men stranded, I believe. It was something like that.
You're right on that. So I don't think it was straight. I think it was 13 hits, because that's what I pulled up on. I checked the box scores before I went in, because I never want to say anything that is incorrect, which I do all the time. Yesterday, Oscar Gonzalez, too, he had his first home run.
Yeah,
so I thought that was super cool moment for him. And Andreas Jimenez was really good yesterday as well. Hit that go-ahead double, I believe it was. So it almost felt like Friday night anyway. It was a late night. that 2-1 ball game, I felt playoff energy. But literally, like it was like I was tweeting with people and they were staying up late to watch. A couple months ago, I would have thought people wouldn't be staying up till 1 a.m. to watch the Guardians. And now we have, hundreds of people tweeting and thousands actually, talking about the game on Friday night. And I was like, boy, this fan base has really turned around to support these guys. I expect to see larger crowds probably start coming down to the ballpark as well, just because of the way they're playing, excitement surrounding them. So I think it's great.
Winning the Colorado, they needed to, right? Colorado's a hot mess of a team.
Yeah.
Supposed to be, right? Winning that series against LA is huge, because we were all saying, if they just get one, I'd be happy with one. But getting two is a big deal. And I think they went a long way to getting some respect. But I think the next test is going to be, as they head back this way, is we got a couple series with Minnesota. And we have quite a few in our division before the break. And we've got to find a way to keep winning these series, especially in our division, especially against the Twins, because the Twins have owned us for a very long time. And if they can get one, if not two of these series wins, that will do even more rolling into the All-Star break, to have people be a little bit afraid of us.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, because right now the Twins are only one game up on the Guardians. So that's an opportunity for the Guardians to gain ground in the division. And George says Minnesota is playing out of their minds, but that doesn't mean anything. So we got Boston, Minnesota, and the Yankees in the next homestand. He also said,
I hate the Yankees.
But they do, and then I'm like, they can't play like this all year, and then they do. So
right. Well, the Yankees, they what were they, like 0-20 or something at the beginning of the season? So here's my thing, what I always say. We need to make up ground in the division, but a win is a win. So if we beat Detroit 3 times or lose to LA 3 times, does that really matter? I'm so sick of people like, oh, we can't compete, blah, blah, blah. It's just so annoying to me. But what Kate is saying is absolutely correct. We need to make up ground in the division when we can. So if we face Minnesota in these 2 series, we need to make sure that this is a time that those games are super important. Boston, I don't like them at all. And I don't like New York either. So it's going to be a good, I think, stretch for us there. And it's going to really show what they have. And it's funny. I think who said they're playing out of their minds? It made me think of Naylor. Have you ever watched Naylor? I think Josh Naylor plays out of his mind. So I think we can match that energy.
Yeah, and Willie says, could Tito possibly be manager of the year for this job that he's doing with this team?
It's a little early. It's a little early, dude.
Yeah, that's a little early. And these guys are, and I think Tito would probably say it as well. They're playing. They're doing. They're the ones on the field. They're the ones that are, going through different things. Stephen Kwan, who started off just out of control the first 2 weeks of the season, breaking records. Then he got really quiet, and he's gotten a slump, but now he's ramping back up. So players like that are what I look at instead of like the manager of the year. I look at the fact that like Stephen Kwan was able to, rally with his teammates and really go through that rookie type slump and then come back now. Those are the things I think we were lacking last year. We did a lot of platooning. We're doing a little bit, but not as much. Like we pretty much solidified some things. There's a lot of Miles Straw hate out there because he's in the leadoff position and he's not playing very well right now. But I'm a Miles Straw fan for 2 reasons. He's a great center fielder. He is a defensive center fielder. We need that. We saw that debacle last season. I don't want to see that again. So I do believe that he will get out of that slump and that he is a good leadoff hitter. Somebody asked if there's any moves before the deadline. I don't see that happening. I don't see the team as much of a mover and shaker, but I could be wrong. What do you guys think? Any moves?
We're going to have to hold that question till after break. So we can answer that when we come back. And you're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
ketchup and water and brown sugar.
I just dumped it on there for flavor.
You should add something else. Liquid.
Shit. Chris, the commercials ain't playing.
You start talking when it's not playing. You start talking when it's not playing.
Okay. I wanted to try though.
Why? You in the wrong mode.
We know this pandemic and the constantly changing guidance on protecting
Gotta
ourselves
learn.
from
See the system.
COVID-19 is overwhelming. That's why WOVU 95.9 FM and Neighborhood Family Practice have teamed up to bring you the facts. The fact is, viruses adapt and change so they can stay alive. When viruses change how they attack our bodies, we have to change the way we defend ourselves. Experts like our licensed medical professionals, biological scientists, and government health agencies are doing their best to keep us informed. When information changes, it's a sign that we better understand how COVID-19 operates. Keep listening to get the facts on COVID-19 from Neighborhood Family Practice and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
The school year is almost over, which means it's time for the CMSD Summer Learning Experience.
Summer programming where students can finish,
Enrich,
and engage in activities that interest us.
summer camps and activities in music, art, sports, nature, and more.
With free meals and free transportation to over 30 locations. Registration starts April 25th at clevelandmetroschools.org.
Get more with CMSD.
This message is brought to you by Cleveland Metropolitan School District and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. Keep in mind that you can keep it locked right here on your dial at 95.9 FM. You can download the WOVU app and listen to us on the go. You can listen online at WOVU.org. And you can always give us a call at 216-271-0959 or interact with us via StreamYard, Her in the Huddle. So I am here with Natalie Turk of Sports Illustrated and Cleveland Kate. We are all in the house talking some Cleveland Guardians right now who are on a hot streak and doing what is not expected of them to be done. So getting back to the Guardians, George says, what about MLB approving a new money man for the Dolans and David Blitzer? Maybe we can be but I can't see because something is on the way on my computer.
Being a buyer at the deadline instead of a seller.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for having my back.
I got you.
So what are your thoughts about David Blitzer becoming a minority owner of the team and buying up some is it stock and things like that, or buying in some shares or whatever rich people do?
Yeah, I don't really align myself that much with these billionaires, so I'm not really sure what they do. No, I read some on it. I know he has some interest in other teams, and this is kind of, I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to wait and see what the plan is and what the future is going to look like with him as minority owner, like what that means to the team. But I know he, I just read like some brief history on him that he has, this is kind of what he does. He invests and has some ownerships in different teams and different leagues. I'm not sure if it's like NBA, NFL, whatever. I just know that he's, I'm not sure if he's going to be more of just, that's just what he does, is wanting to, have some ownerships in different teams, or if he's going to take a real interest in the actual team itself and trying to build it or, making moves. I just really don't think that, especially, since he's new in the deadline with this year, they could surprise me though. I don't see, um, they got rid of we got rid of Yu Chang, a couple of weeks ago. I mean, they've
Mhm.
made a couple of moves, but I don't I don't see any holes that are glaring that they would be looking for really to fill. But that's my opinion, of course, and I don't own a baseball team, so.
What about more bats?
Yeah, I feel like we could always use more bats. But what I feel like is different this year is so the age. Of course, we all know that the Guardians have the you know youngest age team, average age 26. So I think that last year the bats were just due, the lack of just inconsistency in playing time because we're seeing now. Even Richie Palacio came off the bench yesterday and
Right. He was a
drove
big
some
bat
runs
for
in.
us.
Right. So I think what's happening this year is it's kind of changed my mind. I was always wanting a big name, a big bat, like, but I think we have Jose Ramirez in that. And then we have, like I said, I believe the 1 through 9 are pretty consistent because I was looking through before I came on the game and or on the show here. A lot of the games are more of a team effort. We're not just relying on Jose or relying on, we're getting production from Josh Naylor, Andre Jimenez, Owen Miller. It's just up and down the lineup. Even Austin Hedges has been, producing in some clutch roles, even though, his average isn't very high. So I honestly, for the first time ever, will say that I don't really see the need for a big bat right now. Not that I wouldn't take one if they could grab a big name, but I think that what they have right now is gelling in this chemistry.
Yeah, because if you did go for a bigger bat, you're gonna have to give up some of your youth. Some of
Yeah,
the guys that you're still trying to see, can these guys be everyday players and can they play at the major league level? So you're gonna be giving up some of that, and I don't know but how apt they are to do that. But one of the things that you can always trust in, ownership is they make great moves. That's one of the
that's
things
true.
that I can't knock them for. They're able to usually get something out of nothing. And, over the course, they haven't made a lot of bad moves. So, that's something that, I want to give them props to. Natalie, one of the things that I wanted to discuss with you was that we got Franmil Reyes coming back. He's been pretty excellent in down in the minors, coming back from a rehab assignment. So, what will that do for this team?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about that because now when Framil comes back, then a decision's going to have to be made about who's going to lose playing time when we put if Framil comes back as DH. So I don't know where they're going to go with this.
I think it might be Palacios. I was reading something today.
Yeah, because I'm torn between it being Mercado or Palacio. Probably, I mean, we don't see Palacio play as much as as Mercado does. So I have heard that as well. I think I read a little blurb or probably something on Twitter about Palacio will be the one to go down. What I really hope though is, Reyes was really, really struggling prior to his injury. So, but he has looked good, like you said, in AAA. So Saturday, I think in the Clippers game, he had I forget what it was. He had the go ahead run or whatever he did. I was in Columbus actually covering the Crew for the first time ever
Oh,
Saturday
wow.
night. It was pretty cool. And so they were talking about Reyes being in Columbus at the Clippers. So he is doing well. I hope that whatever he was struggling with prior to the injury, that he can be a big bat. I mean, he can be that power hitter too. He can be a weapon. So if he comes back healthy, I think that'll be a good thing for us, but it will cause the team then to have to make a decision, like you said, if it's Palacio or whoever is going to go down for that. So,
Right now, Frank Mill is hitting 429, so 9 for 21 with 2 home runs and 6 RBI. So that's what he's doing right
yeah,
now
that's
down
good.
in Columbus.
That's pretty good. So,
So he'll be back for the Minnesota series.
right, which will be starting on Tuesday, right? Today's Monday, tomorrow.
Yeah. The
So,
Guardians have a much needed day off.
yeah, they'll be traveling, back. Well, their travel day, yeah. Unless they traveled last night, I don't know. Yeah, the game
Yeah,
was over.
they're in Minnesota right now.
Yeah.
So they traveled they probably flew out as soon as the game was over. And they said that they were spending the day in Minnesota. So yeah, they're out there now. And then you got Aaron Savale will be back and he will open up the series against the Twins. So he is 2-3 and 7.84 for an ERA.
Yeah. So Savali. I hope that Savali last year was just so solid. You know, he was on pace to maybe be a Cy Young winner. I mean, he had an amazing season prior to his injury. And I really have faith in him. And I just hope that whatever, same as Framel, but I'm saying this on a pitching standpoint, which is much different, that he can really bounce back from that, because those are kind of ones that hurt. You know, you see their potential and what a good pitcher he is, and just how even keeled his personality is, just everything about him, and kind of rooting for him to succeed. So I'm hoping that will happen when he gets back up and, you know, kind of gets acclimated again to being back up in the majors and everything. Excuse me. I was a little concerned about Bieber till the last few starts, and he erased all my concerns. So he's doing really good. So I'm hoping Savali can kind of do the same thing.
And then I know you got to go in a few minutes, but what do you think about this team? Is that right now they're contending while they're rebuilding?
Yes. Very interesting. You know, like a little slogan tagline. I would think last year I see a little bit more as a rebuilding. I think that they're kind of moving a little bit past the rebuilding this year, and they're kind of getting into that gelling stage as a team where they're building the chemistry. They're becoming more consistent in their playing time. So last year they went through the bumps and the growing pains. And while it still is, of course, somewhat of a rebuild, now this team, they have each other. Like you can just see it. And, you know, even Rachel, when you're at the park, sometimes you can just feel it, honestly, like this energy from them. And I believe that that's kind of what was lacking last year, because rookies, until they know they belong or feel they belong, that's going to be really hard. And we have so many young players. So I think they have confidence this year. And I think confidence was really lacking. They think they know they belong. I don't think they belong. They know they belong. They know they can win. And do you know some of these fun games where before last year in the 9th inning, if we were down, I'd be like, I'm out of here. I'm turning it off. You know, now, you know, they're just like, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. 9th inning, 2 outs, you know, 2 strikes, and they rally back. Like, that's not something we've seen in a while. So they have that we're not quitting. We don't quit attitude. And that's something so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, we got to take another break. And Natalie, I want to thank you so much for being here and talking some Guardians action with us. And hopefully they can be able to take at least 2 out of 3 in Minnesota.
Yes, I hope so. I'm shooting for that, and I'm going to predict that. So we'll circle back around and see if I'm right.
Yeah, well, I bet you are.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Nat. Bye. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM, and we'll be right back.
On protecting ourselves from COVID-19 is overwhelming. That's why WOVU 95.9 FM and Neighborhood Family Practice have teamed up to bring you the facts. The fact is, viruses adapt and change so they can stay alive. When viruses change how they attack our bodies, we have to change the way we defend ourselves. Experts like our licensed medical professionals, biological scientists, and government health agencies are doing their best to keep us informed. When information changes, it's a sign that we better understand how COVID-19 operates. Keep listening to get the facts on COVID-19 from Neighborhood Family Practice and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. Thanks to Natalie for that Cleveland Guardians update and chat. Lots of good information. You got a hot team right now. Hopefully people will get out and support them, get down to the ballpark because there will be some exciting games coming up. You got the Boston Red Sox who will be in town next weekend. And then the holiday weekend, the New York Yankees, the team that everybody loves to hate, will be down there. So make sure you get down there to, support the Guardians. And I'm here back with Cleveland Kate. And Cleveland Kate, we got a lot to talk about, lots of Brown stuff going on, man. So how do you feel right now? Because the Cleveland Browns want a new publicly funded stadium at the cost of about $1 billion. What are your thoughts about that? I can see your eyes, but not everybody can see your eyes already.
$1 billion. I want to know whose decision it was to not put a roof on that stadium in the first place. Because that's who can pay to build another one. Because that's the problem with that stadium.
Yeah. If they just did that from the get-go.
That's the problem. And here's the thing. You suck. As a team, they've been to the playoffs once, twice, since they came back in 99.
Dose.
And you didn't make it out the first. I mean, come on. You need to get your stuff together. You need to have a head coach for more than 3 years. You need to get a franchise quarterback. You need to do a little something on the field to motivate me to want to donate my money to a Syntax or whatever it is that we're going to do to build you a new stadium. Because that stadium is not that bad. Compared to Municipal Stadium before that one, this is still in very good shape. And I just kind of feel like they're trying to distract us from the problems on the field and the problems with personnel and all the other issues that we have going on with the X's and O's. And we're going to go over here and you can talk about this over here.
I've heard about them wanting a new stadium for a little bit, though. So that was, those rumors were out there.
You going to leave? We've been through that before.
But this is the thing, like you mentioned from the very beginning, that a dome should have been built on that stadium.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been hearing is that they want to open their stadium because they want to play in football weather, and then when it's football weather, nobody shows up. I remember one time I was leaving a holiday party in 2014, not 2014, but 2004, and we were staying right across, at the Marriott, where you have a pretty good view of the comings and goings of people going downtown. And there was nobody there at the game. They played the San Diego Chargers when Antonio Gates was playing back then, and Phillip Rivers, and nobody was there at the game.
That's why it's called a retractable dome. If you want to leave it open and let some weather in, you can do that. If you don't, you can close it. The thing is, I would buy concert tickets to go to a concert there in the summer if there was a dome, because I ain't sitting in the rain.
Absolutely. And that's another thing that you're missing out on, so much revenue.
You can't trust the weather in this area for anything else in that stadium. More than $10, I'm not paying for a ticket over $10 if it might rain on me.
Yeah, and I went to Beyonce in the stadium, but you never know how weather is going to be. And then think about when the draft was here, you had activities outside, and people partook in those activities, but it was raining, so things would have been way cooler.
Those were family and kids activities over there, right? That wasn't players, that wasn't draft prospects, that wasn't team people. They're not going anywhere in an open air stadium when it's raining like that and the wind's coming through and the weather's like we get here. With a dome, you might have been able to work something out. So They need a stadium with a dome. I don't know where they're going to put it. They can't shut this one down, tear it down, and rebuild. Where are we going to play for 3 years?
They're talking about. Do you know where the post office is down here?
Yeah.
They're talking about over there because I guess they plan on ripping down the jail. Where would people park at?
Lord.
You know, so it's a lot of things to be considered.
Times when we have September baseball and football games, trying to find parking and get around downtown when they're on the opposite sides of the city, you're going to put them closer together.
Mm-hmm. And then they said that stadium is only used about 12 times out of the year.
Well, yeah.
Because so it's just a waste.
They didn't put a lid on it.
It's just sitting up there as a waste.
You know, I cannot believe that in this day and age of technology, we can't find a way to retrofit some kind of a retractable roof on that thing. Even if you can't rely on it for football games, something where you could do concerts, where you could do, I don't know, craft fairs or Renaissance fairs or something where you rent, where you let community groups use that stadium for things. College football or high school football, I don't know, maybe that's during the football season. I don't know. There's got to be something you could do with that. There's got to be something you could do with it as long as you can put a roof on top. There's got to be some way to do that.
And the sin tax is still in effect until 2035.
Yeah. So you ain't tackling onto that. We're still paying off Progressive Field.
Right.
They're on a new stadium soon.
Right. Yeah. And no telling, well, the Cavs got their renovations, so they not building anything soon. But yeah, Progressive Field better stay as it is. They got renovations recently too for their All-Star game. So
yeah,
I
just don't want to listen to a billionaire complain to me about the stadium when I went. Oh, I survived a 1-31. 1-31 was not that long ago.
It's fine.
6 years ago. 5 years ago.
Fine.
It was not that long ago.
Yeah, just retrofit retractable dome on top. You just
built
this stadium. You just built this stadium. What is it? 22 years old?
Yeah. Yeah. In NFL years, that's pretty young.
Like, how dare you?
Yeah. Don't. It's a red herring. It's a thing to get you talking about it, like we're talking now. So we're not talking about who our quarterback's going to be week 1 and what kind of offense we're going to run this year and what our wide receiving core is who's going to help out Amari Cooper and what am I going to do with 4 running backs? We're not talking about any of that because we're talking about why they don't need a new stadium and how we're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
So it's just a distraction. It's like when the NFL released all those emails from John Gruden and got him fired. That was just so we would quit talking about the Washington football team and that mess up there. And every time it started to come up again, something else would happen to distract our attention. Oh, look, a squirrel. I'm not falling for the squirrel.
Yeah. So, but that is an interesting thing though, with the roof though, because I'm just want to see where they're going to get this money from. At the end of the day, they already taxed us, to the hilt as it is. But you want to talk about
George wants to know why the Haslams can't just build their own stadium like Jerry Jones did. And he makes a very good point. If you want to do that, you build a stadium, you build it the way you want, you put a roof on it, and then you're the one who makes all the money off it when you rent it out for events to other companies.
Is that because they don't believe they're going to own the team for that long?
Well, they don't want to spend the money. They want someone else to foot the bill. But if you want to tell me how to build my house, you're going to pay for it. If I'm paying for it, you don't get to tell me how to build my house. So if you have a house in mind that you want, you need to pony up the money for that. And the Haslams need to pony up the money for that.
Or the majority
of fuel prices right now, he's got money in the bank. He can afford to kick in a little something and build what he wants.
Food and grocery prices. I just went shopping yesterday and I'm like, what it normally cost me about $60 to buy cost me almost $100 to buy. Yeah. I'm like literally $3. Like I shop at a great store and it's one of the discount stores and they normally sell these salmon, sell salmon for frozen salmon and is normally $6.99 or $7.99. I go in there yesterday and it's $9.99.
Yeah.
So we're talking about $2-3 increase. Like this is just crazy right now.
People don't have the extra money to kick in
right
this kind of the kind of stuff that you're asking for. And if he wants to do a new stadium, what would make more sense would be to get with the city of Cleveland to talk to these groups that are looking about renovating the lakefront. doing something out there. Do we really
Yeah.
need to keep Burke Lakefront Airport open? I think it's run its course. I think there's plenty of room over at Hopkins for them to let them little private planes land over there, close down Burke, look at all those buildings along the water. Let's talk about doing a true renovation of the city of Cleveland. If you want to move the stadium, then incorporate the current ground the stadium's on into that plan and do it as part of a whole redo Cleveland plan. And then I might be on with you. I might be on board with you.
Okay, where would the rich people land their airplanes?
There's a whole a terminal and section of the airport that hasn't been used since Continental left. They merged with United. There's all kinds of empty space for the rich bougie people to go land at the airport and not have to rub elbows with me and you.
They can also go to Richmond, that airport out in Richmond too.
Yeah, they got options.
That's another place.
They ain't my problem.
That's another place. So before you go, one of the things we can talk about is who's going to be our quarterback come the start of the season. If Deshaun Watson is suspended for the season or indefinitely.
I mean, a week ago, I would have told you Jacoby Brissett, but now I don't know. If they do a year or an indefinite suspension, I don't know if they can work things out. If they're going to have conversations with Baker about maybe working things out and not throwing this year away. For 6 weeks, you can start with Jacoby and then Deshaun will be back and it's not a wasted year. But for the whole season with Jacoby Brissett under center, no, you've just thrown the entire year away. Maybe they make nice with Baker. Now, I don't know.
I think they're going to have to.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Somebody going to have to be nice to somebody. Going to have to get flowers, maybe buy some chocolate, offer a little, I'm sorry, I apologize, baby. Baby, I'm sorry, you know.
And Baker knows that we're in this predicament and we're going to need him. So, you know, maybe he's sitting high on the hog right now, you know, because it's like, you know, y'all didn't want me, but now y'all need me.
He's been quiet for a change, which is very un-Baker-like. So maybe that's part of it, is he knows if he just keeps his mouth shut, they're going to have to come to him.
Yeah, come to him with a plan. And because right now, supposedly the talks with Carolina are still going, but why haven't nothing came of it yet? Because they've been going on since before the draft, which was when's the draft, in May?
Yeah, so here's the problem with that. Carolina's kind of playing the game of chicken with the Browns. They're waiting to see if the Browns will just drop him. And then they'll pick him up, pay him $1 million instead of $18.5. They'll just give him $1 million and be done and get him cheap. The problem is the longer he's here and the longer it takes us to figure out what's going on with Deshaun, the greater the chances are that we might have to keep him. And Carolina's going to be kicking themselves for not getting that done. So, I don't know. I wish them luck. I thought it would have been fun to play them early in the year and to see Baker with Sam Darnold on the sidelines. But, you know, it'll be what it'll be. We got to play the schedule game soon, girl. Maybe next week we'll play. Maybe during the All-Star break, that's what we'll do. We'll play the NFL schedule game.
Okay, you want to play another one?
I got time for one more.
Oh, I said you want to play another schedule game? You know we do that when it first come out.
Wait and do it till I know who my quarterback's going to be opening day.
Yeah, because what we did, we originally did it based on who we thought was going to be the quarterback, which was Deshaun Watson. So, that's an excellent point. Kareem Hunt wants a new deal and wants to retire a Brown. Do you give Kareem Hunt a new deal so he can retire as a Brown?
Yes, absolutely. He had his issues in Kansas City, and he came here and he got himself right, and he has been nothing but perfect. He has been a good teammate, and we have had zero issues with him since he got here. You need to pay him and reward that and keep him here.
Yeah, I think so too. He's pretty much been a stellar citizen other than the time that he got pulled over and, has smoked a little ganja. Outside of that, he's been a model citizen.
I'm more interested in, he hasn't caused any problems that have gotten him suspended by the league. And he has done, I think, a really nice job knowing that Nick Chubb is our starter and it is what it is. And he does not complain. He does not whine about not getting reps. He just keeps doing what the team asks him to do. And that's what you need. If you're going to have 4 running backs, you need Nick Chubb to be your starter. And then you need the other 3 to be like, whatever you need me to do, coach. You need me to have 1 carry or 10 carries or 20 carries. You tell me what to do. I will do it and not complain. And that's who Kareem Hunt has been. He has not complained about playing second fiddle to Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I hope that they give him a second contract, and they can probably get him on another bargain again. So I think it's nothing but advantageous to know you're gonna have that backup to Nick Chubb and it's Kareem Hunt, who is a pretty good receiver as well. And that's one of the things this team is lacking as a receiver. So
they can give him they can probably do 6 years, which would be the end of his career as a running back. They can give him, I would probably go 3, maybe 4 million a year, keep it low, but then put a bunch of incentives in there. If we go to the play, get a certain number of yards, if you play a certain number of games, stay healthy, that kind of thing, and load it up with incentives that he can earn. And I would do it that way.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and take our break. Kate has to leave the show, so you're going to get the last 15 minutes of me solo.
So, yay, all you want when I'm not here. Happy anniversary, 6 years yesterday.
6 years?
6 years since the Cleveland Cavaliers
I know. Yeah, we're going to talk about that when we come back as well. Right. So, all right, Cleveland KC, I love you. Talk to you soon. You're listening to Her and Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And always remember that you can keep it locked here on the dial on 95.9 FM. You can download that WOVU app and you can listen to us on the go. You can listen to us online at WOVU.org or always give us a call at 271-0959, area code 216. And you can always watch us via StreamYard as well, because that's where we're at. So you can see our real-time reactions. So George Bendicki says he agrees on giving Kareem Hunt his extension. What is the club waiting for? And George, I really don't know. Right now, I'm surprised they're not salary cap maxed out for all the contracts that they've been given. But I believe an extension is coming either way. Like Kate said, you can go ahead and extend them for life and put a whole bunch of incentives in that contract, which, you hope that those incentives are something that he should be able to hit. And you put them in there, you can be team friendly. The Browns have a reputation of doing people a solid. So I think that they would load that contract with incentives that he definitely can hit. So that would be a good thing for him. And I don't mind seeing Kareem Hunt retire as a Brown. I think it would be great for him. I think it would be great for the organization. And he is, he's the number 2 behind Nick Chubb. But, if Nick Chubb isn't there, he's getting in there, carrying it on and being a great back. And he's such a great pass catcher as well. And that's going to be something that you're going to need because he is he's just a great catcher. So you can definitely use him as a dual threat, and that's going to be good for this team. So that's very important, or what have you. So that's important, that you're going to be able to have somebody that can catch out the backfield while you still have these young receivers such as Anthony Schwartz, David Bell, people like that. So you're going to want to be able to see what he can do, and you know that he, especially when he was on Kansas City, he caught a lot of balls. So that's going to be a positive for the team. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, one of the things that took place was Denzel had an MRI on his foot, and will he be ready on time for training camp? He should be. So there wasn't anything detected, I believe. Just a soft tissue injury, and now he has 6 weeks to recover. So he should be okay from here on out. But they're just taking it safe. And he had foot injury that he suffered in minicamp, but he's okay. So he suffered a foot injury on the last day of team mandatory minicamp at First Energy Stadium. He left the practice field early and moved gingerly on his left foot, and he did not return. So he had an MRI done the following day, which shows no structural damage to the foot. So this is just a soft tissue injury. So he should be able to go when it comes training camp, July 27th. So obviously, the Browns breathed a sigh of relief that their new corner that they just signed for a lot of money is going to be playing and will not be injured. So that's definitely some good news for the organization as well. Jadeveon Clowney said one of the reasons why he came back was because Deshaun Watson is going to be his quarterback, and they are that close. And he pretty much said that he would go wherever Deshaun Watson would go. So I look at that as those two players are pretty close. And he probably convinced Deshaun Watson to come here as well because they played in Texas together. So he said, and you got audio of him that he wanted to follow Deshaun Watson wherever he went. So that's one of the main reasons why he came back to the Cleveland Browns instead of signing with another team. So I look at that as a good thing. Despite what is happening with Deshaun Watson right now, things are up in the air. Just that possibility and chance that even though the suspension is started off, possibly 4 games, then 6, then 8, then now people are saying a full season. They're just rumors. We don't know what the NFL is going to do. But Jadeveon Clowney was willing to take that risk and come back to the Browns, knowing that right now we might not have stability at preferred stability at quarterback, but he loves him just that much. And he said, when I was talking to the Browns, I said, I played with him. He kept us off the field a lot. And I was like, you're going to keep us off the field. You put up a lot of points, put us in rushing situations instead of having to stop the run all the time. I just want to play with him and see what I can do with him again. So that is a nod of approval from Jadeveon Clowney regarding Deshaun Watson. So I think that's something that's pretty dope that they have that type of relationship. And Jadeveon said, I'm all in. Catherine Reich is now officially the Browns assistant GM. So you have a woman, and that is a wonderful thing with the Cleveland Browns. And so she is the assistant GM, VP of football relations for the Cleveland Browns. And having a woman in this position, it lets you know that women can pretty much do anything. So she is the NFL's highest ranking woman football executive. So Glenn Cook has been promoted to assistant general manager and vice president of player personnel. And he's in his 7th year with the team. And Ranch previously was the vice president of football operations for the Philadelphia Eagles, where she worked alongside Andrew Berry. That's kind of how they got to know each other and came together. And she is taking over the spot in the Cleveland front office that was vacated by Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, who was hired by by the Minnesota Vikings to be their general manager in January. And she was previously a lawyer, and she began her career in sports in 2015, working with the Montreal Alouettes as an intern. In 2017, she was promoted to assistant general manager, making her the first female assistant general manager in the Canadian Football League. So I want to say congratulations to her. This is huge for women everywhere, and it pretty much shows that women can do anything. So I'm super excited for her, and just this is a wonderful thing for women in sports and everything like that. And hopefully one day we can get her on the show and talk a little football with her, and that would be awesome, wonderful, and dope. So congratulations to Catherine Rice for being the highest ranking female in football, and also shout out to the Cleveland Browns for what they're doing, and they're building a diverse workforce as well, and giving opportunities to people where opportunities might not have existed before. So hats off to them for what they're doing. Hopefully they'll take on me and Cleveland Kate one day. We shall see. But the Cleveland Browns are trying to make some headway in this hiring game, promotion game, and stuff like that. So that's a wonderful thing. Getting back to Deshaun Watson, we don't know what the suspension is going to be. Like I said before, it is headed out a little bit, and initially it was a minimum amount, then it became 6 games, then it became 8 games, and now there's talk about it possibly being the full season. Or indefinite. And those are just rumors, those are just talk. We don't know what this person who's making this decision, I forgot her name off the top of my head, but we don't know what is this decision is going to be. Deshaun Watson was not criminally charged, which is huge. He was not criminally charged in the eyes of the law. We don't know what's going to happen with the lawsuits. So that is something else that's being looked at and talked about as far as that goes. So, with that being said, they don't know if they're going to wait for the lawsuits to start to be settled. This could be a very long, very intensive, very deep process. So, I don't think that you suspend him indefinitely until that is resolved, because these court cases could possibly take years to resolve. So I don't think it's fair that you suspend him until those are resolved, because we all know if you ever been to court for something, there are continuances and things of that nature in which you got to come back and all that other stuff. That's not fair to him as a player. I understand that there are victims out here, but that's not fair to him as a player as well. And he has to be able to work. He has to be able to have his livelihood and play football. So I obviously don't think that that's fair. So I'm hoping the suspension is not indefinite. I'm hoping that the suspension is not a full season. I'm hoping the suspension will be about 4 to 6 games. But how can you suspend him when he's done nothing wrong in the eyes of the law? Has he committed something against the NFL's code of ethics? That has yet to be determined. And I think that that's what they're basing some things off of as well. So this is a complicated situation in which we don't have all the answers. We don't know all the answers, but obviously he deserves to be able to play and not have an indefinite suspension until all the court cases are resolved, because that could be years long, and that's not fair to Deshaun Watson as well. He has rights too. So I guess that's it for her in the huddle. We covered the Guardians today. They start tomorrow in Minnesota. Probably an 8-10 start. Aaron Savali is on the mound, looking to continue the winning of the road trip. They are 5-1 on this road trip, so looks to continue the winning ways. And then we covered some stuff going on with the Browns right now, and we'll get to NBA tomorrow because the draft is tomorrow. So looking forward to that. And you have been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM, and we are out of here.